came over to KeyMark the end of last year from Silicon Valley, the extreme ROI associated with the product. So happy to meet y'all and look forward to our talk.
And I'm Rita Goldenberg. I live here in Indianapolis and have worked with KeyMark for over 19 years. So have appreciated getting to know Jeff and look forward to spending time with you all today.
Is that everyone we have?
I think so.
Okay, great. Thank you guys. So first of all, thanks Jeff and the Indy CIO Network and all of you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you today and share a little bit about the KeyMark story with a focus on robotic process automation. And of course, Sam and team are going to get into that in more detail after I kind of introduce KeyMark to you. I've been selling enterprise software applications for 25 years, and for me, I've been lucky enough to be on in the early stages of growth in several software industries, including enterprise asset management, CRM, and a few others. But I've never been more excited about the opportunity ahead as I am with robotic process automation. I think there's a tremendous opportunity in the market for us, but there's also, the growth opportunity for this market is on par with ERP and some of the larger markets that we've seen in technology. So very excited about that and really what it can allow us to provide our customers from a value perspective. You mentioned, Jeff, the picture in the background, and this is kind of what we see in the background of little old Liberty, South Carolina, which is where we're based. And I laugh when I wrote this, but I put, Liberty's a small town between Greenville and Clemson, South Carolina, which is really a small town between two other small towns. But it's a great spot. It's our CEO lives in Clemson and started the company there back in 1996. And we're based in Liberty, which is about 30 minutes from Greenville, which is where most of our corporate-based employees live. And then, of course, our team on the phone today represent some remote office.
Did we lose John?
Yeah, it looks like we lost John. Here he comes back.
All right.
There he
Hey,
is.
welcome back.
Thank you. I have no idea what we missed there.
You were talking about Jim at Clemson.
Okay. So Jim lives in Clemson and, of course, started the company there. And then we, have been based for most of the existence in Liberty, which is not too far from Greenville, which is where most of our corporate-based employees live in the Greenville area. And then, of course, you've got on the call, Brian is in Charleston, South Carolina, my favorite place in the world. Sam is in Tennessee, and you already heard from Rita. She's up there close to you guys. So KeyMark, one of the things that we enjoy doing, especially during football season, is hosting, customers and partners at the Clemson football game. So hopefully when we return to some sort of normalcy in the future, we can have some of you guys down for a game. And it's a great experience. And we, of course, enjoy hosting customers and partners for that. Next slide, Brian. So this picture here is my oldest son. I think I mentioned him earlier. He's going into 9th grade, but he's provided a lot of entertainment for our family. He's the baby of our family through the years. And I wanted to share a quick story for you before getting into kind of the big picture of KeyMark prior to us going into a more detailed overview of Blue Prism and our RPA practice. But when Fox was about 2 years old, he would just appear in the room with his underwear or underoos or whatever he was wearing on backwards. And we thought that it was just him not paying attention. And then we realized over about a 2 or 3 week period that, that it was obviously something he was making a decision to do on purpose. So one of our family members asked Fox one day, why do you always wear your underwear backwards? And he quickly responded that he liked the big picture in the front. And that was his reason for turning his underwear around, no matter who put them on the right way. So this has helped me on many occasions kind of open talking about the big picture of our company and really what we do as a whole. So I wanted to share with you today from a high level what KeyMark does and what we include in our platform to offer our customers full business automation in every way. So if we look at RPA, which is what we're going to talk about today, robotic process automation has been around for a number of years. In fact, the terms or the phrase itself was coined back in 2001 by Blue Prism, but of course has come on strong in recent years as a leader in technology and the fastest growing technology, of course, in the industry. And it is software that can help you automate and execute most of your computer-based tasks and help you take repetitive, labor-intensive work and kind of relieve your human workforce to be more creative and innovative and strategic in what they do, and also work with computer robots to achieve tasks more efficiently and in a faster period of time. Quick story on how we kind of started our practice, but we actually implemented RPA internally for invoice creation and delivery. And every month we take all of the work we do in our implementations that comes in from our project managers and all of the time that they spent and other resources spent on those projects. And we have an RPA process that runs, takes the timesheets that we enter and turns those into invoices by working with Salesforce, which is and our financial system, pulling data from both of those to create the headers and all of the information that's key for creating an invoice, and then automates the process of creating the invoice and sending it to the customer. That used to be about a 3-week process for our company. And as you can imagine, if we're sending out invoices 3 weeks after we've performed the work, then that 30-day, net 30, net 40, whatever that may be, pushes that date out for the collection of money for our company. Well, we've taken that 3-week process, and it now takes 1 to 2 days with our RPA process to get those invoices out. We know that they're accurate. We know that we're getting them to the right people with our customer, and the whole process has become very efficient. So, we kind of heard the phrase "eat our own dog food," but that was a very successful project for us, and we're now rolling it out to other areas of our own business internally. The second part, kind of our core business, and is really how we started as an organization, is around Highland and their product OnBase around and within the market of enterprise content management. And of course, this provides capabilities across enterprise content management and business process automation, which I'll dig into a little deeper here in just a second. And then the third is a business that we've been in for a couple of years, but have really focused on over the last year, and that's cloud capture. And this is an outsourcing service for our customers that provides high volume document processing and indexing. It uses intelligent automation technology for OCR, which is optical character recognition. And that is really how we got our entry into the business back in '96. And again, I will talk about that in a second. but it integrates data or human validation into the process. And our team has been built out over the last year. And I think we've added somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 people over the last 3 to 4 months, as this has become very important to a lot of our customers with the current environment that we're in with COVID, people working from home, and just the ability to get this job done efficiently and have a service level agreement in place with our organization that says we're going to provide you with accurate data entry and we're going to get it done faster than you are able to do internally. So this has been a big growth area for us as well, and really completes what we're trying to provide our customers in automating their business. Next slide. So this is really just an illustration of the evolution of KeyMark and our growth in helping our customers automate their business. As I said earlier, we were founded in '96 and got our start in the OCR world. Our first customer was the South Carolina Department of Revenue, and we were selected to handle all of their incoming constituent documentation for content management and indexing. And that was not a big project, but it was huge for our company because it really made us a real business and solidified, what we were going to market with from an OCR perspective. And interestingly enough, we've come full circle. In Q1 of this year, we closed one of the largest projects of the year and the last couple of years with the South Carolina Department of Revenue, and they're currently implementing OnBase for their legal, HR, and policy management departments as a first phase in an enterprise rollout for the entire agency within the state. So we're really excited about the work there. And, it's a statement that we did a good job many, many years ago for them to continue to expand. From there, we continued to expand our offering at KeyMark to include business process management, workflow, and forms automation in the late '90s and early 2000s. And we've really been on the cutting edge of that technology focused in these areas as Highland, our partner, is a market leader in enterprise content management and has been for a number of years. And we are their top partner based in the United States. And we were one of the first resellers to partner with them and have a very good relationship with those guys, sit on several boards around the development of their software. So that's, really been a core part of our business. And given our experience with helping our customers automate their business processes and implement machine learning, RPA is really a natural progression for the growth of our business. And it's presented a great opportunity for us to expand the value that we provide our customer base, which is over 1,200 customers. We have worked with Kofax in the past, and they have an RPA offering. But back in 2017, we decided that we wanted to make sure that we were partnering with the best application in the RPA market to not only help our customers grow, but to lay a foundation for future growth, over the next 10 to 15 years with our company. So we launched an evaluation. We looked at the market leaders according to Gartner and Forrester. And through that evaluation, we selected Blue Prism and felt like their technology is the best technology in the market and really the most scalable RPA technology. And it really fit well with what we've done with Highland and other technology partners that we have in the KeyMark platform. So we built an incredible RPA team. I'm excited that they're on the call today to talk with you about what they're doing. They bring a significant amount of experience to KeyMark, and I could not be more excited about the opportunity ahead with this group and what we are going to be able to do with our customers. But again, appreciate you guys allowing us to speak to you today, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to work with many of you moving forward. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sam. Thank you.
All right. It helps if I get off mute. But again, thanks, John, and thank you to everybody for being on today. We are going to move from this point on talking a little bit about RPA, about our solution from KeyMark in partnership with Blue Prism, and just talk high level about the market and the actual product. Brian? This is a picture of the team, minus me. The one you see sitting up front there is Brian in the chair, but it's a fantastic team. We've put together a team that with experience and a real drive towards RPA. They're all Blue Prism certified in development in ROM, which is the robotic operating model that Blue Prism promotes, and using best practices and making sure that implementations as well as management is successful throughout an RPA project, also in training and support. And they all have more than 10 years experience within the RPA space. Brian? Blue Prism and KeyMark have a partnership that KeyMark is considered one of Blue Prism's certified partners. Blue Prism works through partners directly in different avenues. They have some partners that are just training, some partners that are just servicing. We are lucky enough to be a full-fledged certified partner with Blue Prism, so we can resell their licenses as well as do the implementation, do the support, and training if needed. We are very excited, as John said, to be a part of the Blue Prism world. My history comes from, I was with Blue Prism for 3.5 years before coming to KeyMark. I'm excited about the opportunities we have within KeyMark, and we've already kicked off a number of projects that are going very successful. Ryan? Really, in this new world that we're living in now with COVID and everything else that's going on, and there's a constant disruption in the markets, creating a business climate where only the most agile and innovative are going to thrive. The customers you've amassed and most of the clients out there, along with the scalable processes and mission critical IT systems, are both an advantage and a challenge to what you're trying to get accomplished. Most of your budget is spent to maintain and update processes and systems rather than be focused on the new initiatives that you have going out there. This creates what we call a digital entrepreneur gap that leaves you vulnerable to your competitors, especially if they can innovate faster than you can. This is where the new era of connected RPA comes into play, and we close the gap by giving your digital savvy employees, and we call those guys the makers. Anybody who can think outside of the box, who's savvy within the IT area or in the business area mainly, but we give them the power to create and innovate through business-led automation in an IT-endorsed and controlled environment. With our digital workforce capabilities of self-learning and continuous improvement, your makers have the ability to automate billions of transactions while returning millions of hours and work back to the business. This frees them up to create and share their innovations. Our connected RPA offering gives enterprises a way to overcome obsolescence and providing access to leading edge cloud, AI, artificial intelligence, and cognitive capabilities. We connected the talent pool with one of the industry's largest partners ecosystems within Blue Prism, as well as their digital exchange app store. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. The power of automation is at the fingertips with the Blue Prism system. And in the end, the result is a connected entrepreneurial enterprise that keeps pace with changing demands and gives you a competitive edge and closes the gap, enabling your business to win again and again. Next, Brian. So why did KeyMark choose to go down the path of connected RPA? Well, one of the reasons is, to us, an intelligent, skilled digital workforce empowers businesses and technology that brings the ideas to life. We've entered a new age where every company is a technology company. It doesn't matter what industry they're in. Everybody's into technology now. And because of this, information technology must be the driver of innovation. By democratizing technology, we can help businesses unleash their innovators with the power of AI at their fingertips and technology ecosystem designed to increase operational agility. Connected RPA is the way that this is all brought together. Brian? In the beginning, Blue Prism was focused on the premise that business teams have automation needs. But to try to get that across hasn't been easy. Operations leaders are innovative, and they're more than ready to deliver on best value. But they don't want to have to rely on IT department. They're looking for solutions that will help them take full advantage of the transformative power of automation. What they're trying to get away from is leaning on IT to have to build everything out. You know, to have access to intelligent automation within the business unit, that's the drivers that keep the business going. Blue Prism solution allows you to get that connected RPA. Brian? As I said, the end result is connected entrepreneurial enterprise, and that's able to keep pace with changing markets and demands. It'll allow your business to gain the competitive edge, and it helps close the digital gap and enable your business to compete and win. Blue Prism Connected RPA platform is a proven business-led platform with more than 1,300 enterprise customers. The Blue Prism Digital Exchange, which we talked about a little bit before, is an ecosystem that's growing bigger and broader by the day and offers business leaders drag and drop access to AI, machine learning, cognitive technologies, and other things from companies you trust like Google, IBM, and hundreds more. It's all, what we like to call it is the DX App Store. So you can pull all types of skills within your processes to enhance them. The skills that are demonstrated on how technology and AI can deliver value through digital worker. And this is how AI is sorted within the digital exchange. You see there this Blue Prism skills. This is sorted within the digital exchange on such things as OCR, maybe chatbots, or machine learning. The Blue Prism communities were set up by Blue Prism so that there can be best practices and building of networks between business executives and developers, and that allows them to collaborate in such things as what we like to call the art of the possible, thinking outside of the box to build your technology and create automations. Ryan? And our vision of operational agility is realized through the digital operating system that delivers an intelligent, skilled digital workforce that serves business-led platform and global technology ecosystems. Blue Prism is business-led and is the only RPA solution that is business-led, which breaks the cycle of dependency on IT, as I talked about before. You don't have to rely on those things to-do lists that IT have, where automation requests tend to get trapped and not delivered. With robust developer-free automation, easy web services support, and drag and drop intelligence, which you're going to see a little later, a demo that we have, Blue Prism and KeyMark is able to deliver meaningful business-led outcomes. They're technology controlled with Veracode accreditations for security, segregated environments for private and collaborative automations, secure web services integrations for trust and operability, and shared licensing and more. This provides simplicity and with governance to support all the way to scale. We also deliver an intelligent platform with out-of-the-box support and best-of-breed AI providers and instant access to intelligent automation skills. These are downloadable and ready to deploy on the Blue Prism platform, and we're connecting customers and powerful technologies and delivering the power of choice through the Blue Prism Digital Exchange. Brian? When you look at the market and you look at the competitors that are out there within the exchange, within the RPA environment, there are really three different versions of what we call a digital worker. And the reason we don't like to use the word bot is because I never want you to think it's a one-to-one relationship. So, it's not one process to one bot. It could be many processes to a single digital worker, or it could be many digital workers to a single process, or many to many. It all depends on how you want to set it up and what the processes are that you're looking to get accomplished. It all comes down to SLAs. How quickly do I need it done, and how many people are doing it right now? And there are typically two high-level categories of business process performed by Blue Prism. One is the unassisted automations, which we call independent. The other are assisted automations, which we call human in the loop. And under an independent and unassisted automation, a Blue Prism robot will automate an end-to-end process from start to finish, using readily accessible data sources and business rules along with to achieve the outcome. Under a human in the loop automation, the robot executes any repetitive, mundane, or lengthy portions of a process, whilst humans participate by handling any subjective judgments, interpretations, or transcriptions of otherwise inaccessible and unstructured data. Otherwise, the robot can be working in the background, or the digital worker can be working in the background while the customer is, while the human is actually dealing with customers on the phone or interpreting anything that they may have sent in. You may have noticed that unlike some RPA solutions, we don't recommend the attended. Attended configuration, now don't get me wrong, Blue Prism can do attended. They do it in a little different way, but the reason that we don't recommend attended is it's similar to how a company would not let two employees work on the same keyboard. John and I would not work on the same keyboard at the same time in your company, because of security and because of functionality. Blue Prism recommends that giving carbon and silicon workers separate workstations. The black box approach is very deliberate, as it enables the highest levels of accuracy, control, security, and auditability to be implemented within the platform. Robots and humans should not share a keyboard for the same accuracy and auditability as John and I wouldn't share a keyboard. Human workers interact with their silicon colleagues via email, SMS, instant message, pressing a button on a web page, or dropping a spreadsheet on a file share. More advanced handoffs may include e-forms or workflow tools or even chatbots. Some of the larger cases that demonstrate the use of Blue Prism are the front office. And one of those is such things that we're doing with healthcare workers. I know that Warren, you mentioned you're working in the healthcare space. We're doing some work with a hospital that includes nurses and healthcare assistants. They make visits to homes and enter information, the outcomes and the treatments onto a handheld device. Well, that is then delivered back to the base system, where the digital worker for Blue Prism takes that information and enters it into all the core systems. So they can do their work out in the field, and by the time they get back, it's already entered into the core systems it needed to be entered into. Another example that we're doing in the hospitals is some facial recognition stuff, to where if a person were to go in and visit a friend in the hospital, when they go in, they check in at the hospital takes their picture, and they give them credentials to move around the hospital. The next day, if that same person were to come back, the facial recognition software within the security cameras would catch that person walking into the building, automatically check it against where they have been and what they had done the day before, determine that they didn't do anything to where they can't let them in, and the person they're going to see is still there, so that when they reach the desk, their credentials are already made. Just gives you an example of some of the things out there that can be done with automation, and we're doing with Blue Prism. Brian? And this is just to give you an example of just a tip of an iceberg of some of the automations that can be done, whether in a P2P or an O2C environment. Requisition processing, PO processing, verifications and approvals, discrepancy resolutions, credit management, cash applications. There's a number of different areas out there that, that we have worked with for automations and building out processes. And the way that our team works here at KeyMark, we work with the executives as well as the business units that know how these processes are to go. We sit down with them, we have them go through the process with us, and then we work with them to build out that process in a very easy, no-code solution that you're going to see a little bit of in just a minute. But one of the things that I want you to keep in mind is this is business run, IT supported. We need both. And we hope that the experts within the business will become trained up to where they can build out these processes, but we always have IT support there for security, auditability, and integration. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian for the next slide and then to show you a little bit of a demo.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, what this slide is depicting is basically an automation deficit within most enterprises. So on the left, you can see in the blue, enterprise IT typically takes care of those high priority items, the high volume of work, things that are really strategic to the business. They take care of those automations and they throw programming resources at it, highly technical people to build those automations, integrations, etc. Then you can see there's this whole part to the right of the blue that is the responsibility of the business unit. Over on the far right, where the volume of work is really low and it's really a tactical sort of solution to go ahead and script some things. Maybe there's some kind of database update that has to happen. Maybe there's some file that needs to move from one place to another. Simple little operational scripts fit those needs. But then in the center section, what we call the long tail of automation is really all of those other things that are more complex. It is not easy to script that you need to take care of. So all of this typically has been neglected, and most enterprises throw bodies at this. So they'll throw humans at this to tackle the deficit that they have in accomplishing this workload, when in reality, that workload is probably something most people don't want to do anyway, because it's mundane, it's routine, boring. They're logging into systems, running reports, pulling reports down, saving them off, maybe getting data out of a report, uploading some of the data in another system, etc. So, in reality, nobody really wants to do that kind of work. Let those individuals focus on the higher value tasks, the cognitive skills, interacting with customers, making decisions, versus doing this routine, boring work. So that's really where Blue Prism comes in, and RPA, because as everybody's been saying, it's really a no-code solution. You can put code in there, but it's really meant for business users that are not technical to go ahead and build these automations. And sort of our process is when we come in, we want to identify sort of low-hanging fruits, a quick win. And as we work on projects, we want to get you trained up, because that's our model, is really to turn things over. Of course, we could do everything 100% of the time for you, but that's probably not what you want to do. You want to have your own experts in-house, and it's not hard to become an expert. In fact, about a month ago, there was an 11-year-old kid that took, there's this foundations course which really teaches you the foundations of the software, and he passed in 2 weeks. So it's easy to pick up and quick to get started. Okay, so I wish I had more time. This is a short video demo. If this piques your interest afterwards, we'd love to set up some time to go into a deeper dive, and I can answer tons of technical questions, and hopefully I can answer some at the end of this. But here's a short video on SAP integration and what they've done with an invoice-based process. So go ahead and take a look at this, and we'll regroup on the other side.
The RPA tool used in this demo is Blue Prism. At the beginning of the process, the software robot opens the correct environment in SAP and logs in. An invoice request is received by the software robot via email. The robot opens the email and the attached Excel template and scans this thoroughly. Different checks are performed by the robot to determine whether the data from the Excel template is of a certain quality. The software robot runs the transaction code for the creation of invoices in SAP. Subsequently, the invoice data from the Excel template is copied and pasted into the relevant fields in SAP. The robot recognizes if essential information is missing in the invoice request. If this is the case, the robot sends an email to the invoice requester with a request to adjust the specific invoice data. When all the data is entered in SAP, the robot creates the invoice by running the correct transactions. The invoice is then correctly saved for sending. At the end of the process, the robot sends an email to the requester with confirmation that the invoice has been created and moves the invoice request to the relevant subfolder in Outlook. Additionally, all the used applications are correctly closed.
Okay, so that was short and sweet and to the point. Obviously, there's a lot more details behind it we can get into in the Q&A or another session, but that sort of shows you how Blue Prism executes and the sort of how rapidly it can execute. So to get started, we have a free trial. It's a 90-day free trial, Blue Prism. Obviously, we can help you and walk you through things, but there are some people that just want to try stuff on their own. So we can send this link out after the presentation where you can sign up for a free 90-day trial. Included with that trial are hands-on labs, which really help to get you started on your path to getting certified, taking that foundations course, etc. And all the training, by the way, is free. So once you sign up and you have a portal account, you can get in there and take classes for free. The only charge is when you go sit for an exam at the testing center. So we'll send this link out to you if you want to get started or identify somebody within your organization that might be interested and they want to try. They can get started. They can reach out to us as they have problems or questions, etc. But that concludes our presentation. What questions do y'all have?
Hi, this is Warren. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. What kind of challenges do you see with an organization trying to absorb the organizational change of using this type of technology?
Hey, Mike, it's tough to hear you.
I'm sorry.
Hear that. There you go.
How about now?
There you go.
Okay, I'll do that better. What kind of challenges do you see with an organization starting to implement this type of technology? Because you talk about that gap in the middle with your diagram. And if you've got, I'm in a quasi-government organization, and I'll be honest, my folks don't absorb change very well. Got it. And in the RPA space, one of the things I've seen from a lot of the use cases is this hits into your financial area heavily. And I've got a controller and a CFO and all them. They think you can make the world spin on spreadsheets. You can do the entire world in there. So anyway, I'm just curious about what kind of challenges you see and any suggestions about how you can move this kind of technology forward.
Yeah, a lot of the challenges are exactly what you just mentioned, Mike. People are opposed to change. A lot of times with RPA, it becomes a buzzword for I'm going to lose my job if they put it in. What we've done in the past, and again, I come from Blue Prism for 3.5 years. What we always helped the companies to implement was to get the employees involved as early as possible. Make sure that they understand this is not to replace your job. This is to help you. When you talk about things coming through Excel spreadsheets and the way that that's all done, the main thing is to convince them that this takes away the fat fingering of numbers, the problems that they have with these Excel spreadsheets and trying to manage a business. Because A, they're not auditable, B, there a lot of times there are mistakes made within them. So, with this system, every keystroke that's made by the digital worker is audited. It's stored and auditable for your auditors when they come in. So the other thing that I've seen a lot of companies do, and when we talk about getting the employees involved early, is have them involved in coming up with the plan for the automations. I had one customer, a large healthcare provider, that actually had the employees name the digital workers when they would create the process. So they had birth announcements. They had contests to name the digital workers. They did all these things to make it fun for the employees to take the verbiage away of this is going to take your job. It's not. You know, the whole point of this is to allow them to do their job better by taking a lot of that monotonous keyboarding away from them. So those are some of the things that we've seen in the past to help move these things forward. The other is you've got to get buy-in at the top. They just have to understand that this is going to, the ROI on this is going to come about. We've got tools that can help them see that up front. So we get involved with a lot of that early. Hopefully hope that helps, Mike.
Definitely, thank you.
Yeah, this is Vigat. I have a question. Like I see an example, what you showed is more like an outbound invoice, right? Outbound invoice creations in SAP. I know Nick Adler is there, so kind of referring to a use case that we solved or went through at Wabash National. I think it's like, when you talk about inbound invoices to us, like where there are like thousands of suppliers got involved. And when they send invoices, everybody has their own formats, like whether it's PDF or anything, like if we are not automating. So you touched about OCR too. So tell me how efficient, I think the word I'm pressing here is efficiency because there are a lot of tools available. How efficient is on the OCR side to recognize the wording on the invoices that is coming through and matching it exactly to the purchase order request we have in the system, whether it is SAP or Oracle or whatever it is, and then ensuring that PO gets approved or put it into the right status. So have you guys dealt with a use case which involves a supplier side and that has thousands of formats because nobody is following the same format? Do you have any use case that you can talk about it?
Brian, you got.
Yeah, I was just going to say, absolutely. So that, Highland has, OnBase has a product, but there's also other solutions that we sell. And one of the leaders and one of the most interesting in the space is Abby. Abby has several different OCR products. One of them is called FlexiCapture specifically for invoices. It comes out of the box with a number of standard formats, and it's intelligent in that for different formatted docs, it can recognize different fields, and where it doesn't recognize them, it has a simple way to map them that's really quick. There's also a product that they're about to release called Vantage 2, which is really taking it to the next level, much more than just invoices, but really applies across all different document types. So that's going to be out in, I'm not sure, a couple months, I think October, they said.
Okay.
But that's a provider that I would look at heavily as Abby, and we are also a reseller of that as well.
You said Abby?
Abby, ABBYY.
Okay.
And to build on that just a little bit, Blue Prism is open enough to where it can interface with I haven't, in my 3.5 years, I haven't come across a system it can't integrate with to work through. So Abby is one that is already integrated to Blue Prism. And as we talked about on the DX, that skill is out there to be just drag and drop into your process. So once you have the agreement with Abby, that skill you would already have for interface to Blue Prism.
Yeah, I see you guys have a lot of, you're talking about web services and APIs and all that. As long as it is open framework and flexible architecture, we can connect to any system. That's pretty easy. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
You got it.
To add to that real quick, with our cloud capture offering as well, we go through a process of understanding what you're dealing with. And it could be that we look at your current data set and say you have, this is the number of different format types that you have with the invoices you receive or what we could expect. And this is the specific data that you need to take off of each of those invoices so that you can capture that data and put it in an organized format that your organization is able to respond to.
Sure.
So that's something we go through with our outsourcing service, but it's also something we can help you implement yourself internally as well. So we apply that to both, but that's certainly something we could take offline with you and kind of explain in more detail how we approach that problem and how we can hopefully help you with that.
Yeah, sure, John. I will definitely come back on that because right now I'm in transition, so but you know what? I'm working on a product as a SaaS, which is AI and ML based, more on digital supply chain. And one of the things that I was targeting is more like a crawlers. Like I want to automate crawling process where irrespective of what technology, what ERP we are talking here. So I'm in the process of right now designing that crawling techniques to automate the crawling process. Like a change in the system can be captured easily. So we attach a lot of microservices. So the concept that you showed ring me a bell, like, an opportunity where I can search how can we utilize some of the Blue Prism capabilities. So thanks for that. So that's the reason I'm asking. So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, this is Warren. Just a quick question. You had talked a little bit about healthcare plans, health payers. Are you using this with any like claim systems or clinical documentation systems? Thinking more from a transactional perspective. So maybe there is grievance and appeals, which is very transactional. Are you using that with any clients today?
Yeah, so from a healthcare perspective, we worked on both sides of the house, with the payers and the providers, and some of my clients prior to this were Partners Healthcare, if you've heard of them, out of Boston, Sutter Healthcare out of California, and then on the other side, we started looking at Blue Cross Blue Shield, people along those lines that have all used the Blue Prism software. And when you talk about transactional based and the things that they're doing, there's a number of different areas within that we've done some transactional things with. I can get you a list, Warren, and get you some information out there on what we're doing within the healthcare space around the transactional type.
That would be great.
Yep.
So I assume you'll get my email from Jeff.
Yeah. I think they're all. We'll have all those. Yep, absolutely.
Super. All right. Look forward to chatting.
Yep.
Hey, Brian, it's Don from Duke Realty.
Go ahead, Don.
Quick question about, have you seen any adoption metrics for RPA with document management, document tagging? My users really hate to tag documents for some reason for document management systems. So just curious about that.
Brian, if you can run across some of that.
Well, we actually have, with our integration into Highland, into OnBase, the ability to add different keywords in there. So if you use OnBase, we already built an integration to do that. However, these are easy to build. So if you have a different ACM product, that would probably be pretty easy to do as well. So we can do that through Blue Prism. I'm pretty confident. It depends on the system and how we can get access to it, but we should be able to tackle that.
SharePoint?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically any software, any website that a user can go to and interact with, even software that automates things, pretty much anything that runs on a machine, Blue Prism can interact with, whether it's API or whether it's through the GUI. Through the GUI is the most common, but you can do API. You can do some advanced things with Blue Prism, not just interacting with screens.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Hey, this is Chris. I just had a quick question. When you showed that example of opening an email, opening an attachment, and then taking action, I can't help but think of social engineered bogus emails and invoices and things coming in. How do you manage that kind of situation to make sure that when you turn automation on, it doesn't just proliferate a lot of fraud or invalid type of transactions or actions that you wouldn't want to happen?
No, it's a valid point. I guess the answer would lie in how would you do that today with a human? So we would define those rules, what constitutes an invalid request, and put that into the digital worker so that it can recognize that as well. So it's really about the same. It's similar to the process that you train a new employee. So an employee working that mailbox, how would they know that? Well, that's what we're going to tell the digital worker, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it would just, I mean, we test them. I guess my concern would be is, can you really, you get an email, maybe it's not from someone you expect. So should I open it or not? That kind of stuff. Maybe you can train all those kind of human thoughts in there. You got to hover over a link and say, does this look right? Before I open an attachment, there's some of those cognitive type things. Sure. That's the part I don't know.
And there's different options there. So there's a bunch of different providers that provide AI capabilities like natural language processing that would assist with that automatically. However, let's say that in 60% of cases, automation can take over, but then there's that 40% where the digital worker is not sure. Then you can feed those out to a queue for a human to say yes or no, and then it can continue working.
Gotcha. Okay, great, thanks.
Sure. Good questions. Any other questions?
Okay. Is Jeff still around?
I am.
Here he is.
Yep. Just wanted to make sure we gave everybody ample time for questions. Thank you folks at KeyMark for this. This was very interesting, and I know, at least from my perspective, it answered a lot of questions that I had about RPA and what it is and what it can do. So definitely appreciate that. For those on the call from the CIO network, we recorded this, and I will load this out to our YouTube channel. That you should have the link in your newsletter too, as well, so that you can revisit these slides and the information they provided, and give you last minute to answer any final questions if anybody has anything before we wrap it up. Doesn't sound like it. Rita, John, Sam, Brian, thank you so much. This was very helpful for the group. Appreciate you sponsoring lunch today. My McDonald's quarter pounder was great from Uber Eats. So thank you very much for that. I ate healthy. So I appreciate that. And I am sure that many of the folks on the call will be reaching out for additional information.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
All right.
I want to eat healthy like you, Jeff.
Thank you.
I'll take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Thanks again, Jeff.
Hey, thanks, Christian. Good seeing you, man.
It's good seeing you as well.